Larry Holder, Jeff Duncan here with you at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome as the Saints go down 36-20 to the New England Patriots. And Jeff, I didn't come in here expecting the Saints to win. I didn't also expect the Saints to come in here and just kind of lay another egg. And it's becoming something that we've become all too accustomed to, especially in September, Jeff. The stats are mind-boggling how the Saints have done in past four seasons in September, and it's just continuing the trend.
Yeah, they're now 1-11 in September for the last 4 years, and they've talked over and over about the need to get off to a quick start, to a fast start, and yet they're seemingly helpless to turn this thing around. Tom Brady just ripped them apart today. He ended up with 447 yards, 3 touchdowns, and really it could have been worse. I mean, they kind of called it off about midway through the second half, and you know they came out like you said. Just seeming flat on their heels. Brady had 3 touchdown passes, 177 yards, and they were up 20-3 in the first quarter. I mean, this game was over after 1 quarter of play for the most part. And, I think the biggest challenge they got ahead, Larry, is trying to rebuild their confidence after just being non-competitive in these first 2 games.
I think that's got to be the biggest concern for this team. They are just not even competitive in either of these 2 games. And, oh, look, see, Tom Brady put Sam Bradford back in his place. You know, he only had 300-something yards and 3 touchdowns. Right. But it just shows you, any quarterback can come in and just shred the Saints' defense. And you didn't have a great pass rush again. I feel like Cam Jordan was the only guy who really kind of got some consistent pass rush, but I think he only had 1 sack, and it was from Haley Kikaha. And then Brandon Cooks didn't light him up, but everyone else, in skill position-wise, lit him up.
Yeah, and afterward in the locker room, the Saints say all the right things. They always do. Mm-hmm. Everybody was taking accountability. There was no finger pointing. They all were saying, look, I have to get better, looking themselves in the mirror, all those things. And it's the same stuff we've heard for years. So and they talk about having the right leaders in the locker room. They do. They have a bunch of good guys, but they're just not good enough. It's plain and simple. When you see how open the receivers are in this secondary, and how easy it is for people like Tom Brady and Sam Bradford to move the ball down the field. I don't know what the answers are. They got to start finding them quick. Now they go to Carolina next week. This team is not offensively nearly as high-powered as what they faced at least the first 2 weeks. So they've got to somehow find a way to get a win and start getting some confidence.
Now, you say there's no finger-pointing in the locker room, but guess what? Sean Payton clearly sent a finger-pointing message to Kenny Vaccaro, benched him. Mm-hmm. Payton was clear that was the case, said he struggled the last 2 weeks, and Kenny Vaccaro afterwards basically said, I don't understand why. And look, this is on the heels of teams calling the Saints, inquiring about Kenny Vaccaro, something else Sean Payton didn't deny after this game.
Yeah, and I tell you, I don't understand why Kenny Vaccaro got benched. Look, he wasn't playing well. He was going against an all-pro tight end and Rob Gronkowski. No one the Saints put out there could guard Rob Gronkowski. They tried Alex Anzalone on him. A.J. Klein was getting beat. They were using Von Bell. I mean, none of them had success, so why single out Kenny Vaccaro other than you're trying to send a message to the entire team? I'll even bench one of my defensive leaders. Maybe that was the message Sean Payton's trying to send, but to me it reeks of desperation and a coach that's just trying to find any kind of answer to a problem that he hasn't been able to solve for numerous years.
And then offensively, look, Drew Brees, to me, I think he's been rattled the last 2 games. Look, the skill position players outside of him, like Michael Thomas has been taken out. He's even told me afterwards, made sure to pull me aside. I said, do you see how they're guarding me? Like, he can't get open in the red zone. They bracket him, and they take him out because there's no Willie Snead. And so the running game has been missing. The offensive line is in disarray simply because you've got Andres Pete now playing left tackle. He didn't play his greatest game. Senio Kelemete at guard. He struggled a little bit. And Ryan Ramczyk had to move to the right side. And you just add it all up. And it's not just one side of the ball that's doing poorly. It's both sides of the ball, coaching, and heck, even Will Lutz finally misses a kick. And he was your saving grace.
And I think the only hope you would have right now is the fact that these were probably, I'd say, the 4 toughest games on the schedule. They played 2 of them already. I don't think anybody expected them to win in Minnesota, or that was a tough assignment. Certainly against the Patriots, coming off a loss, the best team in football by most measures. Those 2 games are behind them now, so even though going to Carolina, going to London is not going to be easy, they're not going to face anybody like they face today with a quarterback of that level and a coaching staff as good as them. But they've got to start finding answers. And you're right, there's not a lot of hope right now on either side of the ball because they have so many injuries at key positions that the answers are probably standing on the sidelines, really, the real answers.
And, look, this is 4 years in a row. 0-2, 4 years in a row. It's the excuses are old now.
Yeah.
And so it's time to put up or shut up, or, look, we could say this every week. If this keeps going, you got to make significant changes.
Well, Tom Benson, the owner, is going to run out of patience. I mean, he's been patient. Sean Payton got a huge contract extension recently that pays him among the highest coaches. He's among the highest paid coaches in the NFL, and they're not paying him to go 7-9.
Right.
He's got to find answers. The clock's ticking on his tenure here, and I can guarantee you that Airline Drive is not going to be a happy place tomorrow.
No, and it hasn't been for a while now. So for Jeff Duncan, I'm Larry Holder. Check out all of our coverage of all things Saints at NOLA.com and in our print editions of the Times-Picayune. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to noon, Duncan Holder on Sports 1280 on NOLA.com and the iHeartRadio app. I'm sure the airwaves will be full of cheery people. LSU played well. The Saints played well. Tulane was awesome in Oklahoma. None of those three things were true. So I'm sure, Spitfire and Venom's coming our way.
2 hours are going to go quick tomorrow.
Absolutely. So once again, thanks for joining us here at the Dome.